Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
Yes. This DJ will kick the floor in three, two, one.
Hello and welcome to Mzansi Reality. We are here, we are back. I know that some of you have been calling for us. We can see that it's tough. See, people are crying about load shedding. Yeah. We greet you though, however, we greet you regardless of the situation. We are dealing with load shedding. We are navigating around load shedding. We are going to make it. Emily, greet our people. This is Mr. Anonymous, and we're here about what happened, the proceedings today, and the ruling. Obviously, there was a ruling as we predicted yesterday, that the ruling will be in favor of what has been happening. So we have wasted good 3 days of nothing, basically going back to default of what we are currently doing. Keep the likes button and keep the subscription button, subscribe, and the joining membership button. All those are available to you to be used by you. We thank you very much for being patient. And again, please bear with us. In our country, we are going through a lot of things such as load shedding, disturbances, and everything. But we still are alive here and we are going live. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us. This is Mzansi Reality, and I would like to say thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the interaction in the comments. And thank you for demonstrating exactly how important this trial is. It's one of the most important ones we've ever had in this country. And we are all invested in wanting to see what will happen at the end of it. Yes. So Malisela Tefo was also back in court today. Apparently, he handed a document written in Zulu to attorney Sipho Ramosepele, saying that it was very important. It was an important letter from the Meyiwa family. So this is according to the reporters who were sitting in the court. This one, I took it from the SABC reporter. His name is King Kekana or something like that. So that's very interesting that he handed a letter. And Ramosepele also discussed the letter with other legal representatives. Court was in session and the judge ordered the police to get Advocate Tefo out of the courtroom. Advocate Tefo was escorted out of the courtroom after he stood up to say he was appearing on behalf of Senzo Meyiwa, Senzo Meyiwa's brother. And the judge started off by saying, Mr. Tefo, we don't have Senzo Meyiwa in this case. The judge delivered the judgment on the media blackout application by the state's next witness as well. So the verdict took over an hour. It took over an hour, guys. I tried to listen. I tried to get the most important points about the verdict, but I was like, nah.
It was a waste of time in simple terms. But what transpired in that verdict is that there was no solid evidence that indeed this witness, if she was to take a stand, her rights will be infringed in a manner of being threatened, and she will suffer any consequences after that. And there was a consideration, obviously, of what happened in terms of her being involved in social media and defending herself, which demonstrated in a nutshell that, I mean, you are capable of facing these people. You are seemingly not afraid, and you are posting yourself and even have timestamps of where you are at some point. And in a nutshell, without taking long, that's basically what, if I was a judge, I would have said, and that's what was said in a long way, by the way, which is an hour. Emil, I don't think we need to go through that.
No. In fact,
it was a painful time of I think 100 pages that wasted our time. We eventually the answer was that objection was the request was denied, to say that you don't want the media. We defaulted. We went back to what we were, which is audio and not showing any pictures of the person who is what we call a witness.
Yes.
In this case, the name, Lorraine Zandi.
Lorraine Zandi Kumalo.
Yes, which we already knew beforehand that was the case. I mean, we already had an idea of what, because of how they were talking. That's basically it that happened there. I mean, if you want us to go through that proceeding, it's a painful time of like.
No, it was a painful time for me as well. And I guess what caught my attention was when he referred to the deceased as Senzo Meyiwa, and I was like, am I dizzy or something? What is
Yeah,
happening?
and the judge kept on referring to Senzo as Senzo Meyiwa.
Just like,
It kept on happening now and then. And you can tell, I mean, the awareness of the man who always ask questions about everything and repeatedly asking questions and wasting time now and then, because, I mean, if you're still going to come back with wrong names.
you don't even know who.
I bet he was thinking about a submission of Tifo.
Oh, maybe he was still in his feelings about Tifone.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a painful hour of listening to that verdict. The court ruled that the images of the state's next witness will not be permitted, and that members of the media were permitted to broadcast her testimony live by means of audio, just like we've been doing with the rest of the witnesses. Maqhubeke, which is something I feel did not need 3 days. And defense attorneys submitting herds of argument. But this is South Africa. It's a different ball game here. So when they resumed after that judgment, Baloyi said, "My lord, the state calls the next witness, Ms. Zandile Kumalo." And there seemed to be a bit of delay. In fact, there was a long moment of silence. She introduced herself as Zandile Lorraine Kumalo. She finally took the stand after getting the whole country in an uproar.
We don't care. Continue.
Well, Zandi said, "All my rights were read to me and I decided to continue and I choose not to appeal." As if, wow. Because I didn't want to delay this any further and I wanted justice to be served for Senzo. They asked her about her occupation and she said she was a singer. She says she knew the deceased via Kelly, her sister. After 2 dates, they went on a date 2 times, and then Kelly told her that she had met someone. She knew the gentleman through her friend Lucia Mtiani. So I did a little bit brief reading, and apparently Lucia Mtiani is the lady that introduced Senzo and Kelly.
Yeah.
Gutiwa Senzo asked for Kelly's numbers from Lucia Mtiani, and Lucia Mtiani orchestrated their first encounter. Zandi then said they dated. She was interested in him. Okay, all of that about it's alleged because it was coming from a blog. Okay, alleged. She was interested in him and she was interested in her. Now, Advocate Baloyi asked, did they have a love relationship? And Zandi described Senzo and her sister Kelly's relationship as a beautiful relationship, that they loved each other deeply. They even followed each other everywhere. I see you. I see what she was trying to do there. After Mtogo's description of the relationship, she's kind of creating a different picture altogether. So their love relationship began between 2012 and 2013. And even though she says she doesn't know the exact date that they started dating. So Baloyi said, do you know where the deceased stayed at the time during their relationship? Then Zandi answered that although she had never been to his place, there are certain things, the guys, that when a testimony is given, you must highlight. And this for me was a highlight. Although she had never been to his place, but she heard that he stayed in Buccleuch. Every now and again, when he would meet with Kelly, they would meet at restaurants or entertainment places. Endaweni zobmnandi. At the time of his death, Senzo was staying with Kelly in Malbarton. They have a daughter together. And on the 26th of October 2014, she says that she was with Kelly, Senzo, and Togo Twala.
Yeah.
Togo slept over because the previous day they were at the stadium and it had rained the previous night. It was that final game that we all remember.
Yes.
Between Ajax Cape Town as well as Orlando Pirates. So that morning, there was a discussion between Senzo and Kelly about a party they had to go to. This was Roy Mahamudza's party.
Yes.
And they had also had a show at Dorothy Nyembe of Can Do Festival.
Yes.
At the same time. She's saying at the time she was working for her sister. And she was a backup dancer and singer for her sister at the time. And this was in Soweto. It's a park. She described it as a park at the Dorothy Nyembe Can Do Festival place. They traveled in the same car, and upon the arrival, they were going to leave Senzo and proceed. But the party had, however, not started, and they were still making arrangements at Roy Mahamudza's party.
Yeah.
So they left with Senzo and Togo to the show. And I quote, "We all went to Soweto at Dorothy Nyembe. We arrived on time. We just had to wait for the other performers who were performing. We performed, and after performing, we spent a while there. We left after 2 p.m. to 3. We all went to Soweto. We performed, and after that, we left after 2 to 3 p.m. So she says they waited for a while after the performance. And I also remember her mentioning something like when they arrived, they had to wait for the other performers or the other people that were performing there to finish performing. And then they went on stage and they performed. And then after performing, they had to wait a while. And then they left 2 p.m. to 3.
Yes.
So Senzo then said they should go past a certain house in Soweto of a player's mother and leave money there. So there was a former Orlando Pirates player that Senzo knew, and Senzo wanted to pass by the home of that particular player and give money to the mother.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to pause you a bit. Richard is raising a very important thing here. Saying that, we have 343 people viewing, but we have 68 likes. So let us pause a bit and wait for people to like. I'm sorry I have to do this because it is important to us. We prepare for you guys. We do everything that we need to do. Yes, you come here, some of you guys criticize, and we accept that. But we are requesting that you push us also, in a sense, by helping us subscribe, by helping us like the video. Takes us time to do the research, takes us time to compare these things so that you can find it simpler. So if a simple like is a hard thing to come, why should we continue? So we are going to have to wait a bit until we see that number kind of aligning or even proportionally to what we have right now. We have 368 people. Can we have at least 150?
That's not even half. That's not even half of 360, guys.
While we continue showing your comments, doing everything, and the reason why we even start late sometimes is because we don't want to come with half-cooked information. We misinterpret things. We do it so that you get a proper cooked show, right? So we request that you guys push the likes, push the subscribers numbers. Don't forget, because it's nice. I know it's nice when you are watching and we continue and eventually you forget, and the next day it's the same thing. Thank you, Richard, for bringing that up.
Thank you, Richard.
It's important. Let us help each other.
It is important, and it also helps other people who are subscribed but don't have their notifications on find the video.
Yes.
It shows up on their page because you are liking it.
Thank you, guys. So, Emil, I see we are reaching 100 now, 100
Thank
likes.
you.
Keep on
Thank
reminding
you.
people. Continue then.
We have to beg. Well, then she says we stopped over at that place, and Senzo then asked us to also pass by Mtogo's home. She says, I had never been there. Never been to Mtogo's home.
Who asked you?
It was my first time on that day. I will highlight for you guys important points. Don't worry. When they took Mtogozisi to Spruit at Katlehong, he went to a certain house and then he came out wearing a top, getting into the car again. So he says as he was coming back from that house, he was putting on the last top and then he got into the car.
Yes.
Again. From there, they drove.
Emil, I just want to disturb you. And I had, as I say, disturb you, Emil, in the request. Because there is one person who's here biting me, saying, hey.
You interrupt me.
But,
no, guys,
I mean, you need to
let us
rest.
calm down.
You need to rest
Yes.
because, I mean.
And on top of that, I have my script written. And Mr. Anonymous, some things, they come at the top of his head. So,
Yeah,
it's something that we are working through.
So, guys, what I want to look at, Emil, from the beginning, she is saying that there was a communication between Senzo and Kelly about going to Roy Mahamuto's party.
Yes.
Yet she's saying that Kelly was performing at Dorothy Nyembe.
Yes.
Which is one, for me, that does not make sense because they were going there. And I'm saying this because there in that party, guys, you must understand, there was Mandisa there. I do not, for one, think that that was the case. I think this is an additional and nice to have information, which is unnecessary.
Since they were following each other wherever they went.
Which is part of creating that lovey-dovey situation, which therefore, if you need to create it this hard, it means it was not existing that much. So in this case, the reason that we were told by Mtogo is that they went together because there was a problem with the second car, where Kelly parked the BMW after the conversation with Mtogo of going to Roy Mahamuto's part. Kelly went on and took that X6 and parked it in front of the other car that had a problem. And I want you to understand that because they went together to drop Kelly, according to Mtogo, at Dorothy Nyembe Park, I think something like that.
Yes.
And then they came back, right?
Yes.
That's when Mtogo was dropped at home.
Yes.
That's according to Mtogo's testimony.
Yes.
Now, let us listen to when you continue with Zandi's testimony, which is going to change the whole situation.
From there, they drove and went to the N3. On the road, Senzo was talking to Tumelo on the phone.
Yes.
And she added again, even though I didn't know Tumelo, I knew him on that day. So it was the first time, in her opinion, that she was meeting a Tumelo.
Which is, in a sense, aligning with what Tumelo said, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And he was finding out how far he was. This is Senzo. He was finding out over the phone how far Tumelo was. And after that call, Kelly informed Senzo to tell him to get off on the N3.
Yes.
And that they will get him, Tumelo Madlala, at Spruit View off-ramp. She says then we picked up Tumelo on the N3. We found him walking towards where we were waiting for him. And in between there was a point where she said that as Senzo was talking with Tumelo over the phone, Kelly made a suggestion of where he should wait for them, where Tumelo should wait for them on the N3. And then that's when they picked him up. They found him walking towards where he was supposed to wait for them.
Yes, yes.
So she says we took Tumelo from the N3 and went home because earlier on, Kelly had spoken to their mother that since the party hadn't started and we know our mother cooked lunch, she always cooks lunch. Kelly said it would be better for us to go have lunch there. So it was 3 to 4 p.m. around
Yes,
there.
Yes.
So when we got home, we were still outside the yard. We then remembered that in the house we were going to need drinks.
Okay.
We then went to a nearby tavern called Kwembus Tavern. This is where they sell drinks, acha, and trottas. Trottas are cow feet. Basically, there they are selling beverages. That's
Yeah.
what she said.
Yeah.
So both Kelly and Senzo realized that they didn't have cash because at the tavern they don't take cards. She says, I then searched myself and found that I had 400 rands in my bag.
Yes.
I then saw it best for us to use it, to use that 400 rands. Mtogozi Sitwala and I went inside and we used the whole 400 rands and bought Heineken and Guarana.
Yes.
She doesn't remember the quantity, but she says they used the whole 400 rands and got small change back. That's what I remember. We then went home and then went inside the house. We got to my home after 4 p.m. to 4:30 to 5 p.m.
Yes.
The sun was still out. My mom welcomed us and she dished food for us. We sat in the dining room. She points out to where each person was sitting. She says that she was the one playing with the child every now and then. In fact, the sitting arrangements that she said, I don't know if I can demonstrate them. I don't know if you guys will understand, but closer to the TV, Tumelo was sitting there, Mtogo was in the middle, and then Senzo was sitting on the edge of the other sofa. Is it on the left? And then on the other sofa, it was herself and her mother. Her mother was the one sitting closer to the TV, and she's saying that she was the one playing with the child. Remember, Namtogo said something about playing with a child.
Yeah, I guess the child was running around. That can be catered for in a sense that Togo was not holding a child. The child was just moving around, I guess, playing with that one, which can happen.
So it was just her and her mom on the other couch. There were 2 couches opposite each other.
Yeah.
And an ottoman in the corner. She says we laughed and ate. I was the one taking the drinks out of the fridge. The TV was on. It was some English soccer. She said, I'm not good with soccer, but I know it was one of those overseas teams. After some time, there was communication between Longwe, Twala, and I. I'm not sure if it was a call or SMS. He was my boyfriend at the time. He asked me where I was and I said I was home.
Yes.
Longwe asked to come and I said no problem. Then I went to ask my mother if there was enough food. She said yes, but said the only thing that will be needed is soup.
Yes.
After some time, my mother requested Kelly to go buy the soup.
Yes.
Ute Lapo Pezulu. It's the location of the shop, maybe.
Yeah, where they bought the soup.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then Senzo then said he'll accompany her. He'll accompany Kelly, and the 2 of them went out together. So Senzo and Kelly went out to buy the soup. Then an SMS came through from Longwe saying he was outside. I went into the room to dress warmly because it was getting cold. On my way out, I saw Kelly still on her way to the car to look for coins. I saw Senzo going to greet Longwe as they were very good friends.
Oh. And yet we haven't been told by Longwe that was the case. But they are very good friends now. Now we are getting that they are very good friends. Yet Longwe's explanation of Senzo was someone who played.
Togo's explanation.
Let's start with Longwe.
Okay.
On an interview, someone who really liked Senzo, who kind of knew Senzo because he's a pirate fan, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not like there was a friendship that was explained before. And then we come to Mtogo, aligning to that. There was no greeting that is showing friendship,
Mtogo
which
said,
aligns to what?
Yes. Mtogo said he introduced, or he told him that guy is Zandi's boyfriend.
Yes.
That's how when Togo was told about Longwe.
Not a friend. And I think there was that question that was seeking to say, was it a friendship? No, they were not friends.
This is where I have to come in and question, does she know what a very good friend is?
Even if it's a friend, without any good describing weight of what kind of a friendship, even if it's a friend, I think she knows what a friend is. So it's not a mistake what a friend is. These people, according to what we have heard from Longwe, what we have heard from Togo, and even Tumelo, there is no friendship. This friendship is new. It comes with Zandi herself.
Longwe was in the car, a red Polo Vivo.
Yes.
She says she also joined in that conversation between Senzo and Longwe.
Mm-hmm.
And I also greeted my lover at the time. I then asked Longwe to come inside the house. Kelly came from the car and Kelly and Senzo proceeded to the shop. We went into the house. Longwe greeted my mother. He greeted the ones that were in the house. He greeted the ones that were in the house.
Contrary to what we were told by Togo.
He sat down and the conversation continued. I'm like, what conversation?
One thing that I would like to point out here again is that Kelly and Senzo went to store to buy soup. And then Longwe, on an interview, she said she went to buy tablets. Someone was kind of not feeling well, right?
Tablets.
Yes, that's two things, by the way, that you need to also look at. Like there is a lot of inconsistencies that you are going to see. Some of them, they come from the media or their interviews that they did. We obviously have a liberty of doing that. May the court then will only have that liberty if they subpoena such. They need to subpoena such.
Yeah. Inside the house, it was Mthokozisi Twala and Tumelo Madlala. She demonstrated on the sketch where Longwe sat. It was at the corner towards the fridge and the heater. So I'm going to state in my opinion, I would say in the other couch where it was her mom herself in the middle and then Longwe came in and sat at the edge just before the passage. Yeah, in my opinion, I'm not saying that's what she said. So Kelly and Senzo came back from the shop.
Yes.
She gave my mother the soup and my mom made the soup and she dished for Longwe and he ate. When the deceased and Kelly came back, they stood outside. At some point, Mtogo and Tumelo went out to smoke as Longwe was eating. As I was inside the house, I could hear them speak, but couldn't hear what they were saying. Uti bebehimiza.
Something like that.
That's all she could hear. It was Kelly, Senzo, Tumelo, and Mthokozisi. After Longwe was done eating, I took the plate and put it in the kitchen. Then Kelly got in and told my mother that Senzo was asking to leave. Advocate Baloi asked for a long adjournment at
Now,
that time.
as they ask for that long adjournment, let us ask you a question. A neighbor says he saw two people standing by the wall. They were inside.
They were inside the yard, in front of
And
the
then
car.
Zandi says he could hear them outside. Outside, not outside the yard. This is probably she will clarify or rectify tomorrow because we don't know whether they have access to that, to what we are doing here. But this sounds like people who are standing outside by the wall. You could hear them by outside of the house, not outside of the yard.
Not all the way outside
not all the way.
yard.
Yes, which is aligning with what the neighbor said they saw.
Yes.
So the neighbor is kind of, in a sense, vindicated because only
At least
Mtogo
one witness.
disputed that.
Even Tumelo, I don't remember Tumelo saying outside the yard.
Yes. Only Mtogo came with
Only
that
Mtogo.
outside the yard.
Mtogo, it had to be outside the wall. It had to be outside the yard. It's only with Mtogo.
Exactly. That's what I looked at and I was like, okay, that's two people against one. Togo in this case, in most of the things, she seems to be contradicted a lot. he seems to be contradicted a lot. Let us continue.
Then after the long adjournment, she said, Kelly told my mother that Senzo wanted to leave. Our mother said, traditionally, one says goodbye by coming into the house. They don't say goodbye while they are at the door.
Or outside by the yard or something like that. Which is
Ngesintu ukuvaleliswa
inside. You need to go inside.
umuntu ungena endlini kahle bese ucela indlela.
Yes. Yes, that's basically you asking for the way to go.
Akavalelisa umuntu emnyango.
Right? We get that. But there's a small thing that you need to look at there. In Togo's testimony, Kelly came out to ask Senzo if Senzo was leaving. Because as they were standing smoking, after a short while, Senzo came out to join that conversation, which is a bit of contradiction. There was no joining of conversation and with Twala there and everyone else being outside and going inside. You see, that story of going inside and eating, it sort of contradicts. But in this case, Kelly came out and asked Senzo if he was leaving. And because the mother said, people don't do that when they leave. They don't live like that. Ngokwesintu, which is kind of aligning that part of you don't live like that. But the part of coming outside, that means Kelly was inside. And then now Zandi is saying Kelly came outside. Where she was standing, the position now is totally different from you coming from the inside to outside to address someone who just went out. In this case, it was you moving away from people who were already out standing with you, going inside to report that they want to leave.
Yes.
So that's another.
Which is something Togo, it didn't seem that way. With Togo, it was more like, okay, Kelly just came as we were speaking and told us that her mother said, you can't just leave without saying goodbye.
Yes. That's basically what.
There was no moving, going into the house and then coming back with Mtogo's statement. And by the way, I am side-eyeing ngokwesintu while you have your daughter's boyfriends
inside. If you are going to talk isintu,
I am very side-eyeing.
When they are living, it's just amazing. I'm puzzled by this behavior. From where I come from, we don't even sit with your mothers. Still a mother-in-law, even if you're not married.
No, boyfriend. Your daughter's boyfriend.
No, you don't. So
both of them.
If you are going to come here with culture and all that, then at least you should have observed that protocol.
Bombastic side eye.
You don't cook for your child's boyfriend. You don't do that. And luckily they are Zulu, so we are going to go to that direction then.
We are not going to overlook that one, unfortunately. So everyone came inside the house and said where they were sitting. The only person that was standing on her feet was Kelly. Now this is after Kelly had told Senzo, Dumelo and Togo outside that you're just can't leave. When we're seen to come back, my mom wants you to say goodbye properly. And then they went back inside. And the only person that was standing was Kelly. Now, she says Kelly was narrating a joke, even though she can't remember what it was, but she was narrating it while she was standing. Hi, waqala ke uLorraine. She started breathing heavily. Now, according to those who were in court, Gutiwa, she was looking teary. Advocate Baloi asked if she would like a short adjournment. And then Lorraine said, I'm okay.
Emotional damage. That's an emotional... I just don't even like the sound of that. That's an emotional blackmail for me. That's an emotional blackmail. And the fact that Mr. Vasilina asked all these people, do you need a short break? And they say no. And it's sort of to highlight the emotions, that the trauma that they have went through. Like, it just I don't know. If we were acting, we would say good job. But here all we want is what happened, because I'm about to contradict the hell out of whatever came out of that mouth after that. Let's go.
She said, 2 men entered the house. She pointed to the accused. She was sobbing, and she said, that one there, in particular, that one. According to those who were in court, Zandi pointed out to accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi, as one of the intruders inside the house. He was behind the intruder with the dreadlocks. Lorraine breathed heavily again and said, are you guys even aware what you guys did to our lives? Are you guys even aware of what you guys did to us as a family on that day? The judge says, Miss Kumalo. Lorraine continued and said, the damage that you guys caused. The judge said, Miss Kumalo, you are not supposed to do that. Ramosipele rised to say, my lord, I strongly object to this. In the strongest possible terms, we object to this. Baloy then said the witness is still in the process of giving evidence.
Enjoying
I don't know
the
what my
feeling.
learned friend is objecting to. And I was like, oh, Baloy, have we forgotten about the same stunt that was pulled with Tumelo when there was a strong objection to
it? Was
it?
just what was said by what was done by Zandi is not acceptable. We understand from Zandi's point of view. She's a person who doesn't know.
Layman.
She's a layman. We
But
understand.
when
But
advocate-
for you to even not accept the objection initially, it just surprises me. You are enjoying the circus that you are seeing there.
As if it's happening for the first time. As like bombastic side eye. Ramosipele then said the
Now,
procedural
Emily,
rules.
you said she pointed. Let us listen to the interview that she did with ENCA.
Okay.
Sister and everyone in the house are suspects. When did you learn of the second docket? And just maybe elaborate on how it made you feel, because in one docket you are a victim, in another docket you're a suspect.
As I mentioned in my one of my posts on Instagram, I felt like Yonkele case was just umdlalo, you know, because you can't have a docket yokuqala and then we are witnesses, we are victims, and then the next sekuyithina futhi ababulali. When did we get to that 360? How did we get to that answer? And it kamugaphi le second docket ibiguphi all along, unless you just want to pin something on obviously the people that are just right there so that you can get this over and done with.
So do you think this entire trial in itself is a farce?
Hi, Maxes and Abotif. Hi. Mina nginenkinga. Honestly, I don't trust that man for one.
Have you been contacted by the state to
No,
be a
I have
state
not.
witness?
No, I have not.
Ever?
Ever. And another thing that's also like a serious concern for me is that kuthiwa naba bantu baboshiwe, ne? Thina njengabantu abababona abantu abangena endlini, ne? We were not called to ID these people. Why? Is it because now everything has suddenly changed and now we are suspects?
Do you recognize any of those men?
They were wearing masks half of the time. So there's no way I can say hilo or hilo. And none of those guys had dreadlocks. Mhlambe bagundile, some of them have gained weight. It's been a while. So right now I can't say ukhona noma akekho between all of those people. But see, right now kunabantu about 5, but the people that came into our house was 2 people. Yeah.
Your sister said she wants a day in court. Do you want your day in court?
I can't wait for my day in court because as far as we are here, 8 years, it's been 8 years now, we've been telling the truth. Nothing but the truth. We've been helping in every way we can. We've been assisting in every way we can. There's never a time where we were called and we were not available, and we were not available. So we were always there to assist.
Now, I'm sure you can hear. You can hear what is happening here. So half of the time they were wearing what, Emily?
Balaclavas.
Yes. So, and she goes on to say that I cannot point at these people. I cannot point at these people. And then in the very same interview, if you continue with it, she says, okay, why were we not called to point at these people? It just does not make sense. It does not make sense. That's why I'm saying some of these videos, probably they must be subpoenaed to go there, because there is no way someone can contradict themselves without any pressure, because there's no pressure there. Then maybe there's pressure here on the stand. For you to contradict yourself this much and say these people half of the time they were wearing balaclavas, and you went on to explain that you saw both of them because you were sitting in a position that allowed you to see them. You even explained that Long was denying you access, but because you are a king of peeping, you peeped through to see the next one, the second intruder. Continue, Emil.
Another thing that I would like to know is if she contributed to the sketching of accused number 2 or both of the accused.
Today she's able
Did she make any contribution to that?
Today she's able to point today. She's crying.
That's not the only interview where she says that they were wearing balaclavas. Even the one they did, I think it was with Massive Metro at some point.
Yes.
She did say the same thing, that they were wearing balaclavas.
Yes.
2 times.
Which was like
interviews.
kind of aligned. I think even the sister kind of alluded to that, allegedly. It just surprises me now all of a sudden you are capable of crying. That's why I'm not buying the crying thing. You are capable of crying, and on top of being capable of crying, you are now pointing with bravery that you have. You are just pointing at the person who was wearing a balaclava. I mean, come on now. Okay,
Ramosepele's objection was that the procedural rules, the witness is testifying to court and addressing court, not the accused persons in the dock. And Baloyi said, that's fair enough, my lord. Ma'am, you're still in the process of identifying the persons who came into the house. If you can just do that and refrain from further comments. You pointed to someone.
That pointing thing is very obvious, even to male.
You pointed to someone. Zandi said yes. He was one of the people that came into the house, but he was behind at the back. Advocate Baloyi said, wait a minute. You were still pointing a person. Who is it? Zandi, it's him, the second one there. Baloyi then just said, just tell step by step what happened. Would you like a comfort break? Lorraine breathed heavily again and said, I'm okay. Let me just have water. One thing I have to wonder, Mr. Anonymous, when it comes to Advocate Baloyi is how he actually prepares the witnesses. For this to be happening for the second time, is it not his job to remind witnesses to not address the accused directly?
It is.
Or is he entertaining
but you say
this?
He can argue that they were driven by emotion. That's why I'm saying emotions are important here. Because these people now are crying. You tend to forget such interviews that were done by the very same people when they are crying. You feel sorry for them. But no, man, no. Some of us are sitting here. That's why this proceeding had to be on television. Because we will sit here and we'll look at you and we'll call you a bluff because we are allowed. We have things that you were producing. In court, they might not have them, but we as general people have them. So we are going to compare. We are going to compare. We are doing that, exactly that. We are comparing now. Perhaps if it succeeded that it was done on a closed door, then maybe you would have succeeded in doing all those acting and whatnot.
Now, I'm asking myself, is he entertaining this in the hopes that it will make his case against accused number 2 in particular, stronger?
You know what? She, on that interview, again, the ENC, she went on to say, we are surprised. After seeing people, we are surprised.
Getting arrested.
Yes, she saw the faces because they were published. She says, we are surprised that 5 people are arrested now. She never mentioned in that interview that I can actually identify 2 people or 1. Never. She said
one
no.
In particular.
Half of the time they were wearing something. I could not see their faces.
Their pictures when they got arrested were all over the internet.
And then all of a sudden, you are now in a position of pointing.
Now, let me be the devil's advocate here and ask, how terrible would it be if accused number 2 is not the intruder? Do we know what that means? It would mean that she's lying and that it would be the cruelest thing I think we've ever seen. I don't think Lorraine understands the concept of innocent until proven guilty, especially if she has said in interviews before that the intruders had balaclavas.
And she cannot point at them. She was asked point blank, can you point at one of them? No. Half of the time they were wearing balaclavas. I cannot point at them.
Now, I hope that this whole dramatic scene that she has just given us will be worth it in the end. So, and also apparently this performance is categorized under human nature in the South African law, that it's only a human nature if you are feeling overwhelmed with emotions in court. Humans are humans. But it has no basis. One of our family members here on the channel commented that American courts, these types of stunts are done to persuade the jury. So in South Africa, they have no basis. It's more facts over feelings when it comes to convicting or proving innocence or proving guilt. So while I was sitting, she continued. This is a story continuing now. I'm done with my opinion piece. While I was sitting, the one that was in the front with the dreadlocks had a gun. The other one was in the kitchen just before the hallway.
Yeah.
Baloy asked for her to demonstrate on the exhibit. And Zandi said the one with the dreadlocks was standing here. Mshololo stood to ask for the correction of the issue of saying here. We don't understand what here is. And I agreed with I agree with that, because once you look back at the transcript, what are you going to say about here? So for recording purposes in the court, it's important for you to be direct in what you are pointing at. So Zandi said just where the passage starts, right before they entered, I could see the door opening, the kitchen door. As you are seated in the dining room, you are able to see the door open, but you can't see the person entering. She's referring to the kitchen door, that when she's sitting at the dining room where she was sitting, she was able to see the kitchen door whenever it would open, but she could not see who was entering. But I didn't know who it was. I was peeping. Longo was slightly obstructing me. So Longo was trying to block her from peeping.
Not trying. It was not intentional.
Oh, it was not intentional.
It was a position where Longo was sitting, according to what I understood. So she eventually got a position of peeping, because she always does. Even in the bathroom, she got that position of peeping.
Yeah, she peeps. The intruder who was in the front with the dreadlocks had a gun and said, "Take out money and cell phones." He spoke in isiZulu. "I am also Zulu," she said. "I know when a person is not Zulu."
That is a very vague statement. So is this person Zulu or not? That is what we need to establish on the cross-examination, because Balo is not going to do that. Kipani mali na my cell phone in Zulu. It's a contradiction of what Mtogo said. Mtogo said cell phone and money, cell phones and money.
Don't forget the cuss word at the beginning. Cell phones and money.
Cell phones and money.
In English. Agai kipani imali na my cell phone. Totally different things between Mtogo and
She
Zandi.
here hammers and emphasizes the ama cell phone, which is in a Zulu, we call it ibizomfagela, because it's not our thinking. We are using an English word in our language, mali though, which should be in Zulu. Mhlambe amaqhamuqhumana, that is a phone, something like that. But still, that means that thing was said in Zulu, simple Zulu.
And what was very interesting for me when she said, I'm a Zulu person. I know when a person is not Zulu. And I'm like, girl, you're giving yourself away. Are you watching the proceedings? And then Zandi said,
there is a sort of a disconnect between this witness is witness 1, right? Mm-hmm. And then Togo was witness what? 5?
Apparently she was witness 1 and then Togo is witness number 4.
Number 4. Mm-hmm. There is a disconnect between Togo. Watch out for that. In Togo, from now on, until maybe all the people who were in the house, they're probably going to be saying Ntogo, less Ntogo, and contradicting a lot of things about Ntogo. Reason being, I still say that Ntogo came late
to the party.
They probably do not have much affection towards that man.
I noticed it as well. As I was writing the transcript, I noticed that order of preference, Togo is always mentioned last.
Yes. In fact, it comes in a form of a questioning that comes after that, the follow-up questions. He does not automatically come like to me, for example. Togo comes after probing. So that Togo becomes part of the scene.
You noticed that too. I was like, okay. Well, the judge said, are you able to say it in isiZulu? Then Zandi said, Kipani mali na my cell phone. Accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi, who was in court, was standing there.
And then the judge there goes on and says, Mali and cell phone is English. What business does a judge has done that, man? Why do you need to emphasize that? You are trying to align with what was said by Mtogo.
Or you're trying to block the defense from probing on that.
It's okay. You don't need to do that.
There's no need.
There's no need to do that.
Ramusepele raised to say they are at that problem of somewhere la. The record doesn't know the description of somewhere la. And Zandi said that he was standing in the passage close to the wall next to the stove, and where there is a fridge if you look carefully. Then the judge asked, who was it? Zandi said, accused number 2. While all of us were still shocked in the house and not certain as to whether what was happening, I then heard a click of a firearm, and Longwe stood up and pushed the one with the dreadlocks and firearm.
Do you remember with Mtogo there was no click?
There was no click.
There was a swerving.
No cocking.
There was swerving of a gun.
Swerving
of a gun. So there was no, even Nisi asked, was there no? And then Togo said no. There was just a swerving of a gun. That's why I'm saying you are going to see a lot of contradiction when it comes to Togo. A lot of it. It's not ending here. Just expect it. Because as I said, Togo, for me, I don't think he came into the party at the right time.
I then heard a click of a firearm, and Longwe stood up and pushed the one with the dreadlocks and firearm and pushed him backwards. Longwe got an opportunity to get out of the kitchen door.
Yes.
Kelly ran to the bedroom, which is opposite the kitchen, which was her bedroom, Zandi's bedroom. And then accused number 2, Danzi, followed Kelly. Kelly then closed the door. Accused number 2 tried to push it. Then she says we then all got up and pushed both of them, the intruders, towards the kitchen.
This is after Kelly decided to run and go to the bedroom that she cannot identify. And then
she said it was her bedroom.
In her bedroom. In fact, she identified it. what she could not identify is Tumelo's bedroom. Again, do you see how Tumelo is corroborated to this story? Tumelo, even under too much pressure of having to hide yourself, I mean, running away from the danger, you still remember that Tumelo ran.
Is in the story.
You know, Tumelo ran.
But Mtogo, we don't know where Mtogo is. I won't remember the order in which we stood up. I just saw everyone get up. We were fighting them, the intruders, towards the kitchen. We were trying to get them out, but our door in the kitchen opens to the inside. So we were fighting them and they were fighting us. Senzo was standing in front of the one with the dreadlocks who had a firearm. And I'm like, what happened to the scuffle? But anyway, I then saw Tumelo Madlala's crutches on the passage floor. I took the crutch trying to assault accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi, but I couldn't reach. Tumelo then took the crutch from me and assaulted accused number 2.
Again, Tumelo comes in here.
Behind the door, Senzo was wrestling the intruder with dreadlocks for the firearm. I then heard the firearm going off. The spark from that hit my right leg. Baloyi then asked, did you see where it struck? Zandi said, no, I cannot say, but there was a sound as it hit the tile.
We have, Emily, just to disturb you a bit, we have since established that the door was open according to Zandi's testimony. The door was closed, sorry, because they were pushing the door in a very simple explanation. They were pushing the door with their back. It's like someone is pushing you towards the door and the door is locking. Do you understand?
It's closing
because
from
it's
the
gonna lock
inside.
because it closes from the inside, so it's gonna lock. So the door was kind of locked by the back. Now that begs the question of how then Mtogo manages
get
to
out.
escape. In that case, it would be very nice to get this thing beforehand, but unfortunately Mtogo is gone in this case.
Later, Kelly also came and joined in. Kelly was helping Senzo fight the first intruder who had the firearm.
Forever yena. Forever yena. I will fight with you even if the man has firearm. I will ignore my mom and my sister. I will
What a
fight.
hero. What
I
a
will
hero.
fight with you. I will fight with you.
Kawegas.
Kawegas. That's what happened.
Now, Baloyi said, at which stage did she join in? Then Zandi said, when she went to assist Senzo with the first intruder, the one with the dreadlocks. She said, my mom was attacking accused number 2 with her hands. What
This is
happened
when
to the
crashes
crutches?
now are normal. The crashes are normal.
Guys, do you even know or remember that actually the person who brought up crutches in interviews and stuff was this current witness? When I heard the firearm go off, I ran into the bathroom while Tumelo Madlala ran into the bedroom. In the bathroom, I stood, but then I decided to squat to take cover. I then heard the firearm going off again. I went off in the it went off in the kitchen. Then the firearm went off for the 3rd time.
Yeah.
Still from the kitchen. The sound this time was different. Then it went quiet after that gun sound. I then tried to reach from the door handle and I peeped while I was still squatting.
Yes.
So this sound of the final sound was more like a doof.
Now, why specifically that change of a sound? You would know that there is that sort of a theory that a sound that hits a bullet that hits a body or something, the sound tends to be more silent than the other ones. So I guess that's why we are driving this conversation to say that this sound was more silent. So that means therefore the sound that hit Senzo is a 3rd one now, not the 2nd one,
Not the first
one.
one. We now have 3 shots. We moved from
We have
2.
added one shot extra from the 2 that we had. We have 3 shots now. Yeah, we have 3 shots.
3 shots. And not the judge asking the witness to demonstrate all the squatting and peeping action. And the guy with the red jacket, yes, I saw him too. Accused number 4 and 5. They were laughing. They were laughing at the demonstration of the squatting and the peeping. That the judge said they could not see. She just went underneath the table. He needed to see that demonstration. But then court adjourned, and Lorraine will continue giving us her testimony in the witness box tomorrow. Thank you, family.
There's gonna be a lot. We just bear with us, because keep your notes. Just bear with us, because there's gonna be a lot. But by the way,
guys, highlight.
By the way, I think I must remind you, according to ENCA interview, that Tumelo was there to negotiate for the lobola.
How did we forget? How did I forget that?
And then the issue,
Tumelo was there to negotiate lobola for Kelly and Senzo.
The issue of Mtogo,
according to Zandi.
The issue of Mtogo being, in this case, a person who did not know them and didn't want to go with them, it is now rebuffed, because Mtogo is known, according to Zandi. Mtogo was known more than Tumelo, meaning that they know each other. So there is that contradiction again that we need to look at, because Mtogo, it was the first time going there, right?
From Togo.
It was the first time. That's what Mtogo said. And she went there because of the baby. And that was it. So there is that a bit of animosity between the two.
Yes.
And in fact, between the people who were in the house and Mtogo. And I think that is confirmed even by the fight between Mtogo and Tumi that was allegedly had. So there's too much exclusion of Mtogo from the house, and that came at a time where we kind of had that thinking of saying, if Zandi can go to the ENCA and say, why don't we look at Mandisa? Why don't we look at the mother herself? That sort of came in that in my mind, that maybe these people, what they are trying to say is that Mtogo was the center person of all this. That's an allegation, obviously, that you have to conclude yourself. I'm just putting it out there, because the exclusion of Mtogo, which is understandable, because Mtogo was a friend with what we can call a competitor in Mandis. Mtogo would be looked at as a person who actually takes indaba from this spot to another person who is not supposed to know about them. That's basically what happened in that court. We will continue poking holes. I see that we have around 732. Please, can we have those likes again before we open the calls?
How many likes do we have currently?
We have 200 likes.
Guys, you can push that to 400. I believe in you.
They can. They're capable.
Please.
Can we have those likes? If we get those likes, then we'll be happy to also take your calls. I see some of you are already calling. It's not a problem to call. I will be happy.
But encourage us with your likes.
I will be happy to take your calls, guys.
We're not asking for money. Just press the like button.
I will be happy to take your calls. But can I see the likes first and then the subscribers? As you see, am I taking that? No, I'm not going to take until... Okay, the number is moving. 300. Mzansi Reality, hello.
Hello, Buti, kunjani?
Sikhona mfethu njani?
Ndiyaphila nami sisi Emily, kunjani sisi?
Ngiyaphila.
Yes. Kodwa ke namhlanje ngicaphukile besike sana exchange apha ku-comments ku-YouTube. Hey Buti, mandiqale ngani apho man, hayi ujudge animthandi tutu and andiyithandi le nto. Ujudge hayi animthandi and andiyithandi tu le nto yenu, and the way eniphusha ngayo uba ujudge makangathandeki indlela nje endingayaziyo, you see. That's so because even inoba uniprove right, even nangoku enantsikileyo ekwaziyo ugweba ngekwecala lethu, that's because besifuna le audio siva uba kwenzeka ntoni phaa, you see. and
So-
even nakwe the way benimcriticize ngayo kuyo yonke lanto
let me ask you something. Our critics are very simple. Our critics are very simple. When we watch between the judge that is dealing with Baxter's story and this judge, there is a huge difference. There's time there. There's time management there. People are ready to work. And that's what we've been saying, that can we work? This case has taken 8 years. We cannot have 9 years. We cannot have a situation where we have to deliberate about the issue of media taking place for 3 days.
No. Puti?
3 days.
No, Puti, yazi intoni Puti ne? And enye into mhlawumbe zawuphuma kwe-casini and enye into andi-understanding South Africans. You see, andi-understand. That's because ayingojudge umuntu odileyo yonke le process. You see, and yonke le nto isuka apha kwi-community yethu. No, Puti, into yokuqala yoba silungise South Africa sayiqala nge-community ngelikaNtsuke kwi-community.
How is the community supposed to push the judge?
Leya inantsika yonke la process leya, I think is state nabo khili and nokutshintsha kwenantsika nokutshintsha kwelense kwe-lawyers yonke loo nto leyo and you expect uyayibona loo nto.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Look. You can. I understand your position, and I will let you finish your position. I don't mind, but I'm not gonna sit here and pretend as if the proceedings there are faster. I'm not gonna do that. I'm still gonna say they are not fast, and the judge is not helping because, I mean, even the issue of peeping and whatnot and all those things, just it wastes time. There are things that are really wasting time that you can see. These things are wasting time. A normal judge would call this thing out and say, okay, we understand, move on, move to this thing. But the only time is of essence there is when there is someone that is seemingly not friendly with the court. Then that's when you see, even with Titi, impatience and all that. But if it's Baloyi and if it's everyone else, cool, take your time. Titi, in fact, we even want to go drink tea. I mean, should we ignore that?
No, ndiyakuva bhuti ne, and ujaji ndibonayo uyabalansisa ufuna i-case ebalance. Ndandike ndathi kuqala ndandikhomenta apha kuni ndathi abantu abaninji into abayifunayo bafuna ubone kheli bebanjiwe, kanti leya inantsika le ezi proceedings ngokuzenzekayo it's about state basiprove aba bantu banetyala na okanye abanatyala, and then after kwagqitywa and then ujaji ke ngoku ngona ezawuthini ezawungenelela ke ngoku ajaji. Uyayibona, it's not that laa nto nanisithi ingqondo zethu ziphambili siyayazi uba azange ungene mntu, akho mntu ungayaziyo loo nto leyo uba akuzange ungene mntu. Abantu abanatyala ngabonantsika ngaba babesendlini. You see.
Do you remember the same? Do you remember the same judge fighting Tifo while Tifo wanted to bring these statements that are contradicting these people now? Now that the case is becoming even clear to you because of the statements coming from 375, right? Is it that not the case?
No. Buti kaloku remember inantsika i-case eyayibekwe phambi kwejaji yayile uzovela mva, and ke ngoku bendifuna ungena nakule nto kaTefo. Yisi bendike ndane-exchange apha nonantsike nomzandi, yazi wena mntu unantsikayo pha ukhomentayo ku-YouTube ne, into enzeka iyi-one, into eyenziwa nguTefo irongo. You see, irongo uyayazi nayo uTefo bengasappose uba uyayenza laa nto and yazi uba why abantu bazamsupport uba makaqhubeke enza laa nto.
Are you a lawyer?
Are you a lawyer?
Ndatsho ndathi ayojump ngicastle leya.
Are you a lawyer?
Are you a lawyer?
Parliament.
Are you a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Are you a lawyer?
I-load shedding andikuva kakuhle but.
Are you a lawyer?
No, andiyo but yombi no standard 3 mna but ndiphume emsinye esikolweni.
Okay, we understand.
Oh, it makes sense.
We understand.
Yeah.
We understand. It's
What do you understand?
Yeah.
No, that your argument, we understand. You are a
understand
good
what-
citizen in terms of being good. You're a good citizen. Uthanda umthetho, uthanda order, and we accept that. We're not going to dispute that. Nathi siyawuthanda umthetho, but sifuna ulungile.
Bawuzozizwa kanjani?
Can
Can I ask you a question?
Mandiyekela abanye. Mandiyela bye.
Asinika chance. Zansi reality, hello.
Mr. Nanawas, how are you?
We're good, sir. How are you?
Good, man. I see the irony that you are also testifying like Lorraine.
Yeah.
I had to.
and I see Emily is blackmailing us with emotions when the way she looks at us when she says we must hit that like button. But look, guys, when it comes to the gunshots, Tumelo did not. Tumelo only had one gunshot, right?
Yes.
And the gunshot that closed his ears to the extent that, according to Zandi's testimony today, Tumelo could not hear the other two gunshots because of the first gunshot.
Mm.
Now, that is a contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, when you hear in a normal robbery situation, if you don't know a person,
mm-hmm.
and this person cocks a gun in front of you, and then you have the audacity to approach a person who has just clicked a gun.
Yes.
With a barrel facing you, then you approach that person with an intention to assault.
Mm.
That's not a real robbery situation.
Mm.
And you look at the timing. When did Kelly run to Lorraine's bedroom? You see, because according to Tumelo, or I can't remember it's Tumelo or Mtoko.
Yeah.
When the gunshot went off, immediately Kelly Kumalo ran to the bathroom to the bedroom. Which today we know it is Lorraine's bedroom. You see, but Lorraine was squatting in a bathroom, and Lorraine in a bathroom that is divided by the wall between the bathroom and the kitchen could hear all the three gunshots, but Tumelo in a bedroom that is opposite the kitchen could not hear the gunshots. And there's no wall between now. It's just a door facing the kitchen, but he can't hear the gunshots.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Now, the other thing, you see, Vaseline. I think Vaseline watches too much American movies. This question that Emily was asking, whether isn't his responsibility to tell his witnesses the demeanor that they must maintain in court. No, he knows it's his responsibility. These things that are happening now in court are his coachings. He has coached these witnesses to do all these funny things there. You see, and this thing of pointing, he knows it was objected when Tumelo did it. Now today he is poking it that the witness must continue pointing, and Afro is doing the same. He's saying, "Can you point again? Who's that?" And this thing was objected to Tumelo to say you can't point people. It's not allowed.
This is not a parade.
Exactly.
No, I get you.
Yeah, no, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey.
Can you continue, guys, pressing that like, please, for me? I see we are on 300. Let me see what is happening on WhatsApp. Then while we're doing that, please subscribe. Let me see. Zanzi Reality, hello. Zanzi, hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Yebo njani?
Sikhona njani?
Ngathi ngifuna be wrong mina number live.
Are you?
We are live.
We are
This
live.
is Zandi
Zanzi
Reality.
This is Mzansi.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Yeah, ngilikhuluma izulu mina. Khona into engifuna ukuyibuza ukuthi ayikho possible lo mfolo olokhe khonjwa lapho ukuthi uyena. Ngeke ni lawyer yakhe ilokhu iveza ukuprove ukuthi wayekuphi that day ilokhu isifika lapho nje ukuthi mhlawumbe uma ikhuluma i-question alona emprocess 9 bese lokhu ibuyele lokhu ifuna ukuveza kancane iproof yokuthi wayekuphi that day akumele lokho kungasiza yabo nokuthi media i-stick nakulokho kakhulu ukuthi that day this guy lokho ekhona ukuthi wayekuphi ayikho indlela ukuthi lo yakhe iveze lokho.
I think bafune ama record ne
basaphinile ama back
so
statements
akesilindele wona sibone ukuthi kwenzakalani. Yeah.
Okay, siyabonga
kakhulu.
yeah and advocate baloyi
Zanzi hello. Mzansi hello. Mzansi hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, that's a reality. Mr. Anonymous and the police.
Yes,
Hi.
it is.
Hi, yes, this is Tobega. My question, I actually wrote it on the comments. If Kelly was like telling the joke and dancing, and then these two people come in, now a bit of cell phones and money or whatever. When then Kelly did, they tell her to sit down. What did she? Like, I want that question to be answered, because something is not making sure up.
Yeah, it's very interesting because she was standing. I think when you ask that question, you'll probably be met with an answer of she will have to come and answer herself.
Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, but I get 70 Bye.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Thank you for
Don't
calling.
forget to press that like as you get out.
Yes, please press the like button.
Nzansi, hello. Yebo.
Njani?
Sikhona njani?
Sikhona.
Yebo mfowethu.
Yebo, nami thinga ngene ngiphawule. Ngibulise uEmily.
Hello.
Njani sisi Emily?
Ngiyaphila njani?
Sikhona. Yeah man, ngithi nami ngithi faka amagama yana amabili.
Yebo mfowethu.
Nami ngiphawule.
Yeah.
Yeah man, lento man ibuhlungu kakhulu man.
Yeah.
Yeah, le case le ibuhlungu kakhulu. Mawuthi uyayibheka kuya actiwa la. Hollywood. Movie. Yeah, it's a movie whereby bangathi uyayibheka i-justice system yethu hey niyamabhunyo athi bengcono kakhulu. Lo judge lona khona manaya. Uyabona man. Lento le yokubheka mawuthi uyayibheka yokukhomba umuntu.
Yeah.
Muslim ngathi ikho yakhulunywa ukuthi ayivumela. Why mani ngathi labantu bamani bangena lapha bachubeka lama witness bachubeka ukukhomba lo muntu loyo one. And lo judge wathi uyachazela ngaleyo nto. Leyo.
Yeah, no ngizwa kahle mfowethu.
Yeah, manje mawuthi uyayibona lento le. Ngathi seyidecide ukuthi hayi laba fola abalapha hayi lelicala lilawe kumele balithathe ngenkani.
Okay. Yeah, ngiyakuzwa kahle.
Ilokhu nami ngikubona.
Uzwa kahle mfowethu.
Yes.
Sibonge kakhulu.
But mani ngiyabheka uZandi. Hayi. Lento yokhala.
Yeah,
we are actor losses man. Actor kakhulu. Yeah, man ngathi lapho le case mangathi uyayibheka nje mawubheka le Mzansi bioscope.
Yeah.
Ngathi yiyo lento. Ngathi le cala le ngathi akusinto ereal.
Not Mzansi bioscope.
Ngathi akusi real thing mangathi uyayibheka. Yeah, lo judge man ngathi lento le ngathi bayenze deliberately. Ngathi state must start a case la bafula lo judge na judge no advocate state advocate. ya ungathi bayidecide lento lekuthi hayi laba uguluva laba bazoyichova lento sifuna and mangathi uyayibheka wenza the same ngalohlobo ustate sifunayo because labantu mangathi uyayibheka badecide ngabo labantu ukuthi lecala le yilabo yabafanele lecala yeah
I know
but engathi asithi kuyibheka mhlambe mangabo yongena la ku cross examination mhlambe na uZandi lento yakhe yokukhala kumele azochubeka ngayo
yeah
angazoba ngathi angabi achubeke ngayo akhale noma wayam cross examine ngoba manje uyayibona ngathi uyakhala but mayofika kulesikhathi se cross examination uzobona uyotshintsha amagiya uzobona ukuthi lo muntu uyoba aggressive yeah so this thing what we beg is a narrative lengathi is been planted whereby these people all the witness will just come and just say one thing. So what I'm seeing in this case. Yeah, so the defense they have to work very, very hard, and I think they must also look at on the case maybe the international whereby I think the FBI can assist on this kind of regard. Yes.
I know. Sikuzwa kahle mfethu. Siyabonga kakhulu.
Ngibonge kakhulu na.
Yeah. Let me see if I can take some people from. Yeah, the beeping thing, guys, is gonna be there because you are calling one gadget, right?
Yes.
So the beeping is gonna be there. You're just gonna have to because someone is calling while we have someone else on the call.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be that beeping of saying there is a call that is coming. You need to attend to, but I'm still on the call with the caller. Zandi Reality, hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Tata Limas,
It's called up with.
No, I'm okay here. Hey guys, let me quickly touch on advocate therefore. Hey. Yeah, I know each time advocate therefore is in court, these people get uncomfortable. It's like they somehow know that this one might spill the beans on what we don't want to touch. The judge gets irritated. But I think somehow advocate therefore needs to maintain some emotional intelligence. Because you see now the judge has decided he must never be part of those proceedings. Now it's a problem. But we'll see what will happen going forward.
Yeah.
Now, Zandi, guys, you know the biggest mistake she did today was bravely pointing at those two guys.
Yeah.
Let's go back, Mr. Anonymous. There was that guy who was, they said he used to wash Senzo's car. Some mbata.
Zamoguhle mbata.
Yeah. Do you remember that this guy, I don't know if that forms part of 636 or 375, but do you remember that guy was accused of killing Senzo? And apparently he's a guy around Fosloras there who used to wash that car.
Yes.
Though Kelly's mom, Kelly, and I think Zandi also. They knew that guy. They knew that guy well. But they kept quiet until that guy was acquitted because nothing linked him to that day. So why are they today? Why is Zandi today being able to point out a whole different person, saying that this person is the one who did this?
Good question.
Good question. It's a very good question because that would be very interesting. In fact, it's nice to have such, because that's why we must know. Did you at some point at that person? Didn't you know that guy? Didn't you know the person? Something like that? We need to know who pointed, who. Why didn't, after pointing, even if the person pointed, why didn't you go there and say, no, but this is not the guy. This is let's say the mother didn't know. But why didn't you go and say, this person washes Senzo's car, we know this person?
Yeah, this will be very, very interesting. And I think, guys, we tend to be impatient, or I think we are angry at the judge. Yeah? But somehow I think the judge is trying by all means to, even though he's trying by all means to be neutral, but at sometimes I think maybe he's overdoing that. Yeah? But I don't see how the judge is going to rule against the 5 accused. Like, I don't see how.
Yeah.
Already, with what we have gotten from the witnesses that came, I think there are a lot of contradictions. That maybe it's still in, but now for me, I think there are a lot of contradictions that maybe they could serve enough to acquit the 5 accused. Those guys are innocent, and it's very painful. And it pains me when every time these people do wrong things and then they talk about procedure. No, certain people are not following procedure. And then when it comes to them, the NPA, everything is right. But with time, guys, I think these guys will be acquitted. Hey, as for Zandi acting up, crying, guys, it's a nice thing to cover up for your loved ones, but to falsely accuse someone of something that they didn't do, it's very painful.
No, I hear you.
But God loves us all. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me take maybe one person from WhatsApp who's going to call from WhatsApp.
Okay.
Is this Mr. Anonymous from Zandile Reality? Yeah, it is. I'm not going to call the name. So if a call comes in between a call that comes through as a direct call and WhatsApp call, and I'm probably be tempted to take WhatsApp call. Reason being, I have been ignoring them. Today I got more calls than. Please let's like the video, guys. We are on 729 people that are watching. Thank you very much for being part of the show. Zandile Reality, hello. Zandile, hello. Hello, Zandile. You're going to have to call again because probably network is the problem.
So, and also we have to remember, guys, that accused number 2 is the only one who didn't have a prior conviction. So he didn't have a criminal record. He's the only one of the 5. So that's something we should also keep in mind. And he had a job at the time he got arrested. He was working at a mine in Rustenburg, allegedly. So.
Zandile Reality, hello. Zandile, hello. Zandile, hello. Zandile, hello. Are we at that stage? Yes.
Yebo. Ngithi mina ngifuna nje ukubheka la because uma ubheka uZandi namhlanje into kade ikhuluma uyabona ukuthi ayihlangani wonke umuntu kade eyibuka ngicabanga ukuthi uyabona ukuthi hayi ngathi ayihlangani impela. Uma ubheka edubulekeni kukaSenzo ukhuluma ngokuthi inhlamvu yena ayifika uthe idubule yadubula phansi kwase angazi ukuthi inhlanzi yase ithinta unyawo lwakhe kodwa angathi abanye abakuvezanga ukuthi ikhona into eyenzeke njalo. So lokho kungabe kuyenzeka ukuthi noma kungenzeka ukuthi kumoshe yonke lento kade bayihlele because uma ubuka uMr Vaseline uyabona ukuthi lento uma uZandi kunento ayikhulumayo ngathi uyabheda ubuka indlela ambheka ngayo uyamnisa nokumnika ukuthi angasaqhubeki. Yabo ambuze imibuzo ngendlela asuke sina ngayo so yabheka nje ukuthi kungenzeka ukuthi mhlambe kuphazamise uhlelo lwabo ngendlela abayihlele ngayo lento.
No, ngezwakala mfowethu. Ngezwakala.
Okay, ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga mfowethu.
Siyabonga.
Zanzi, hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yes. We can hear ourselves.
In the background.
Hello? We can hear ourselves. Can you reduce?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Can you reduce the volume? Are you cool now? We are ready to shoot. Shoot.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I reduced the volume. Yeah, Mr. Anonymous and Senzo Meyiwa, how are you?
Hi.
Yes. Yeah, I just wanted to say there's a lot of contradictions in this case. Yeah, because I was also following you guys when you were also playing the interview with the NCA with the Zandi. So there's a lot of contradictions with her, and she's also contradicting other people who have been witnessing. Yeah, so, but the issue is that I don't know. This is what I see it now. It sounds like the whole court now is staged in terms of witnesses, especially on the side of the witnesses, which gives the defense to actually work very hard to crack on the truth of the matter.
Yes.
And it's very worrisome because how comes everyone now is just coming to contradict and saying something that is not even, we can see that it was not even there.
It was not
you
even.
See?
Yes.
So that is the issue that I'm trying to check the whole case. Sorry. What is going to happen with the judge? Is he going to be able to rule out on this matter? I mean, on this case? It's going to be very difficult for the judge.
Yeah. No.
And it's going to expose the state into a very serious problem because there's no baselines that are coming out as it like it convince the judge to roll out on this matter.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a problem. The other thing that I wanted to just raise is that according to Zandi, it sounds like Senzo was killed by the third bullet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to check, because the first bullet went on the ground, I mean on the floor, and then from there the second one went out, and then we don't know where was the second one went to.
The doff.
You see.
Yeah.
So that is the issue. The other issue that I'm trying to check is that there was a movement from the sitting room to the kitchen.
Yes.
That movement, when it actually happened, everyone wake up, stand up, And then they went together in the kitchen, trying to chase the intruders who hold the guns. You see? So the issue is that where was Mtoko? How many people were there? Zandi is not coming out in terms of the numbers of people there.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to ask myself, if the door was closed, how did Mtoko came out when he had the second bullet when he was on the way?
Yeah.
You see, that's the issue that I'm trying to digest, and there's a lot of problems there. The way I see it, sounds like the witnesses were staged in the sense. And I feel it's very bad in terms of this matter, because the other question is that, okay, the day which Senzo was killed, there was one call that went to the family, Senzo's family. And allegedly that day, they said the call which went there, it says Senzo was killed by mistake. And why can't the state or the court take the first call which went to the family? And that shows that there was no intruders. Because if Senzo Vele, that call indicates that Senzo was killed by mistake. But the story changed after again to say that no, there were intruders in the house. You see, so that's the question that I'm trying to ask myself. Or it's gonna be tough on this case.
Yeah,
I don't see any proper ruling from the judge here.
Okay, no. Let's see. Let's wait and see. Let's give another one a chance. Thank you very much again.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Maybe he might surprise us.
Let's see. Someone is trying to call here, and I'm tempted to answer. I'm just gonna ignore one person. This one. I cannot place a new call, unfortunately.
And another interesting thing with Zandi's theory,
yes,
testimony, is that they were using the same car. There's not much mention of the smaller car that Mtoko was talking about, is there?
Yeah.
X6 kuphela. Leya yase-garage, indaba yase-garage. It's not in Zandi.
Zandile.
Njani bhuti?
Sikhona mfethu njani?
Ngiyaphila mdaka baba, khuluma no Stone.
Yeah.
Hi Stone.
Bawami, angazi akuthi nami nje ngisike kwelijikayo ngihlale phansi.
Yeah.
I've been following the case with keen interest, like now that sesikule stages esike sikusona manje. Ngama questions mdaka baba. Well, kunama inconsistencies kuma lento kulabantu asebe ama witnesses, right?
Yeah.
Konke ngiyibuzayo ukuthi what if abantu bangena? What if abantu bangena? Ngoba ngizama understand ukuthi kwenzeka kanjani ukuthi bonke lapha uma sikhuluma ngomthoko no banotumelo.
Yeah.
Abantu abangathi bebesondelene kakhulu noSenzo. Angicabanga ukuthi bengalwa kangaka over such a period of time. Beloke bemangabanga. It's just my own assessment. At times ngilokufila like okay, lento ayenzakalanga, but ngibuye ngibuza ukuthi what if labantu bangena? We need to also consider that, put that ukuthi kuyenzeka labantu bangena. And ngithe mangithi ngiyajula ngizama ukunderstand ukuthi makungenzeka ukuthi labantu bangena. Kunezinto futhi ezingahlangani khona lapho. Ngokuqala i-profile yalezi insizwa lezi. Insizwa ibonakala ngathi isikhabi. Bese ngibuza mina ukuthi inkabi ifunani emafonini. Yebo leyo nto. Ukuthi inkabi sesingayobamba abantu babambele ifoni. Akhambisana angiboni ihlangana lapho. Ngibuye bese ngithi my own understanding or own ngoba nami angizazi into zomthetho kodwa mangiyibukisisa ngithe mangithi ngiyibhekisisa kahle ungayibheka mntaka baba nemzansi sonke ninake lento ukuthi ulongwe is being taken out of the whole issue. Ulongwe is being taken out and ngokuthi uye waphuma akasekho, is not involved in any. Everyone kukhulunywa labantu abala ulongwe is out. Why esheshe waphuma yena? Asikhulumi nge-act of living, but the storyline is trying to exclude him in any way and every way. Iyaqala le esibili uyibheke nawe dadewethu. uKelly ungene ekamereni uyayibona, which means uma engene ekamereni nawe uyaphuma akasekho. She's not involved in this now, kule fracas. Umthoko uthi yena wabaleka. uTumelo wangena ekamereni. uZandi wangena etoilet. And lama jita asala nobani kahle kahle nje. Indlela nje nokuhlala ngizama ukuyihlaziya yonke lento. Ayihlangani. Mina ake kube bakhona ama-detective nabantu abajulayo kulezi zinto lezi. Bengizozama ukuthi mina ngi-understand ukuthi uLongo ufika kanjani. Bese ngiprofila uLongo. uLongo benama-challenges during those days. Ube nama-challenges ey'dakamizwa. And ube ne-history yokutshontsha ifoni. We know ukuthi uyawatshontsha amafoni.
Isn't that after?
It happened after the incident.
It happened after a long time, in fact.
It happened after the incident. Okay,
but it also doesn't
dismiss. A trend. It brings something interesting into the picture. Mangathi nje mina mhlawumbe kube nje iplan yakho ukuthi kunabantu abathile lapha yana majita niyasiyabhema o ngenkoloda or whatever. Nabantu abathile lapha ya singathola amafoni agrand nemadlana. And then it went wrong. Enye yezinto that people needed to look at what enhlula kakhulu ukuthi ngi-understand ile ukuthi all of them seem to be bayaphuma kwisini. Bayaphuma abanye ngabangena amakamereni, abanye bayabaleka, abanye, but yet they are telling us a story. Angazi noma ngiyaduka kodwa ibuye ingahlangani kimi. Ibuye ingishaya kakhulu lapho mase kuthiwa inkabi ifundana emafoni. Inkabi angeke ngicabanga angazi noma yilezi inkabi zalezi insuku. Kodwa inkabi esizaziyo thina bekuyizinkabi ezibonakala ematekisini, empini zamatekisi, politiki kanjalo njalo. Uthi zingalanda ifoni unless makukhonto bezilanda.
Hayi, ake sithi nje uzoyilandela kancane. Yona uphekwa impela ngoba ngiyakuzwa impela uyakhuluma futhi uphinde uyiphendule kokunye ukuthi kukhona la obona khona. Kodwa ke nje nawe njengomuntu mangathuli ijudge wena uhlala phansi uyayibheka when uyibona kukhona umuntu wangenayo
akazi mawumela usuyibamba kanjani kodwa kusangenzeka ukuthi ukhona umuntu wangenayo
usho kanje
kusangenzeka abantwana bakababa asibeke nama emotions eceleni
mana ke ngubuze mfowethu okay ungena umuntu wafuna amafoni bezolanda amafoni wagcina wathola ifoni eyodwa which might according to what we know public all these people remain basala namafoni wabo the intruder leyo I guess they were not experienced such that they would let someone go out of the house such as ulongwe after inhlamvu iphezulu mfowethu ikhokhiwe bamyekela ulongo waphuma ngoba ulongo usukume nangu Zandi ethi ulongo usukume mabeqeda ukusikhokha shuthi inhlamvu iphezulu bamyeka waphuma ulongwe kwazophuma nomthoko ingabe njalo lezi ngoba sesiyazi ukuthi amagabelazo mangathiwa sikhuluma ngesiZulu amagabelazo ahamba kuphi lezi insizwa sesiyazi ukuthi ezinye sidoza impela into ezwakalayo sikhuluma ngabantu lapha abangancengi mangathiwa bangena manje mfowethu kuwena ngeke beze bechithele isikhathi mabezokwenza umsebenzi so
kunjani
bonke labo bantu labo bayeka bonke labo bantu labo bashawa ngenduku zokudondolozela ama crashes ngampela awuyibukisise kahle la
bashiyene exit
baba yazi ebuye incabangisa ukuthi ungenzeka uyazi into manje ihlelile ifika ingenzeki ngalendlela enihlele ngayo kuba nepanic anything can happen under panic
ingozi eyenzeka layo under panic ukuthi ngabe bonke laba bantu balale phansi iyona ngozi le ngoba phela umuntu mayesondela kwekhombisa ukuthi akahloniphi uphethe ivolovolo wenze njani uyamkhombisa ukuthi liyasebenza yeah
hey ikhulu yebo sisa
bashiyene X6 BMW
bashiyane Polo
iPolo kanti ibiya labantu laba
no iPolo bengekalonga angithi ulongo baleka wayishiya ngithi balekile waphuma egcekeni wayishiya so zonke lezi imoto beyisile lapha
mina yazi mntaka baba angazi iyalo kunginikeza iconclusion angifuni ukumbamba impela ngimenga ukuthi abangenanga ngoba zikhona izimpawu ezithi ngenzeka inhloso yabo yiwe ukuthi kuthathwe leyo nto leyo kumbe ngendlela ebengibeke ngayo ukuthi bekhona bekhipha number bekumele kube in and out
bavinjwa yini ukuyithatha leyo nto mfowabo
angithi bese sokudubuleka umuntu la abantu laba besingacabanga ukuthi labantu mangibakhomba kumele bafreeze phela bonke abantu bahlale phansi ngithatha ngihambe kodwa labantu baya react and mag-react kahle uyi-panic mode
mfethu abantu bakithi laba esikhuluma ngabo
yebo
lezi insizwa amazulu ne futhi akusiza insizwa zamazulu mhlawumbe asuke lokushini lezi uyabona ukuthi isuka la
zasemakhaya
yebo onongoma labo into njengale uma uyibuka wena lento esinawe nje ngampela zingavele ifike idideke lezi ayizizwe
akwenzeki cha khona kwenziwe khona kungenzeka mhlawumbe kule situation kodwa khona kujwayelekile akuvamisile abalenzi iphutha
hayi ngcono ngoba uyayiphendula baba ngcono ngoba uyayiphendula ilapho
ake kulandele ake ningisondezele ulongo engabaleki wayekumele abaleki akabamsondeze la
ulongo ngenzeka uzoba khona naye ezoba iwitness isiza ukuthi wena wabaleka kanjani ngoba phela uzomela sichaze naye istory sakho ukuthi waphuma kanjani wena mfoka baba kukubi kanje kuvalwe kanje eminyango
hey yazi ngifona ngila e-island nge-lunch nje bengihleli nomngane wami umntemande silaleli i-court proceeding xoxa ngayo indoda ejule kakhulu ke ifuna le ndaba iphelile ngibe ngibonise ngathi kodwa ungafaki kakhulu ama-emotions mntemande ngoba izokulimaza awuyivumele ijaji ibambe ngendlela ngoba asikakabi nalesiqiniseko mntakababa ukuthi kahle hle iwela ngabuphi inkinga enginayo asikakabi nasiqiniseko.
Hayi mfuka baba ngiyakuzwa ngiyathanda ithemba lakho mfowethu ake sihlalile kulo bese siyaqhubeka yeah
ngibonga kakhulu kuwethu
sibonga kakhulu mfowethu
yebo ngizolalela nami online
okay mfowethu sibonga.
So khona uqinisile ngama emotions nami I agree. I eventually cave in. You know, if you are emotional about this case, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah. Let us just press that like for one more time. And I'm exiting now. This is my exit time. Let me answer this person. You have a minute or so. Mfoka baba, zokunikeza nje minute. Hello.
Mr.
Wait.
Molena Emil.
Hi.
Yeah. Nithetha no Khwele Sehlika ne?
Yebo Khwele Sehlika.
Yeah. I think Zandi contradicte kakhulu. And mina ndiyafuna ukukholela ukuthi akukho into ine-intruder phakathi apha. Ayikho into ene-intruder apha. The only person who shot Senzo allegedly should be Ulongwe. That's the only thing I can say. But the other thing that I've noticed, Zandi, it looked like Ulongwe uthwala le witness leseyigqithile akamfaki kakhulu akambali kakhulu this apha ngokwela hlobo lukaTumelo. I'm not sure ukuthi nginotisile nani na into enjalo.
Did talk about it, yes.
And the other thing, I'm not sure is statement. Kuna statement esithile salahlekayo from the police ebadefike qala phakulandle. I think there is something missing ekufanele ba ikhona la. So kuyo yonke lento imali into esifanayo bhuti man. Kuthengwe kuningi kuthengiweyo apha. So yeah.
Yeah, mfuthayi sikuzwa kahle mkwethu sibonga kakhulu. Sibonga kakhulu Khwele Sehlika.
Shopa.
Yeah. Ake ngunikeze nje mfethu 1 minute. 1 minute. Hello, Zandile Reality.
Hello,
how are you? I'm just going to give you a minute. Yes.
Shoot.
Okay, Zandile Shano. Oleshano.
Yeah.
Zandi Oleshano dintho tsena tsentseng ba di bua ke mashano kaofela. Ha ona batho ba keneng ka mono ntate. Ha ona batho ba keneng ka mono. Batho bana ba tseba gore na ho etsaetseng ka ngwaneno wa motho. Ha ba bue nnete ne ba tlo tshwarwa batho bana. Ya tlana kwa bona ba tlo faswa ke bona ba tlo thuwela ka tlase ka banneng le ka basadi bana be se lokile.
Okay. Ziyabonga futhi.
Okay, I think that should be the final corner.
That should be the final.
Thank you.
Emily, they're asking for lipstick here. I don't know. You'll give the person the lipstick.
Oh, it's a matte one. It's actually 2 colors.
Yeah.
It's a purple one and a brown one.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. And now we are done, guys. Thank you very much for being subscribers first. Thank you, and then people who liked the video, those who haven't, please do so. And welcome to the new member. We saw you. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.